Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, we continue the concept which we have mentioned to you in the just a previous video of the range of psychological challenges in life and how we go through extreme sadness and extreme joy or extreme happiness in inverted comma, all right? And what is a concept of normal life in Islam? And I have read the ayat from the Quran, Surah Baqarah, and to give you an idea that our life in this world is a transient life, and our normal life, we have some experience of extreme sadness or extreme joy, whichever there is. We have to be able to bring us back to the situation in which it is normal, because if extreme cases, it will lead to depression, or the other extreme here will lead to mania, psychosis, and so on. So how are we going to do that? That's why we have to frame our SEMP integration. So today I'm going to go into very detail in terms of the psychological profile, how within this psychological continuum we can implement the SEMP integration within Islamic psychology, especially when we are developing our book Positive Islamic Cognitive Behavior Therapy using the base of CBT, using the element of positive Islamic ideation in terms of the spiritual, emotional, mental and physical self, and how we're going to develop an assessment system and so on as we go along in this video. So today I'm going to give you how, as we look at behavior and the problem of the range of psychological problems within the mood that we go through in life, because our emotions will then reflect our feelings and our mood. So whether that emotion is coming from our lower self or a higher self, if the mood and the feelings is coming from the higher self, it is coming from our qalb. Allah tells us about the nature of our qalb. So if we look at, say, this whole range of psychological mood, all right, we can have one extreme as mentioned to you and the other extreme. So for normal euthymia, this is normal, this is right in the center where we have our normal range. We have a little bit of sadness, we have a little bit of happiness. So our graph in life would be just like this. Okay, all right, this is time, all right, this is our, all right, elation, and this is depression, all right, okay, MDD, So if we are normal, we go through life as a normal human being. Yes, we go through some joy, some elation, some depression. So our life should be our life. Sometimes we go through something like that, very bad, and then we bring ourselves back, or just like that, and then we bring ourselves back. So our life is having small episode of depression or small episode of extreme joy because of something that we achieve. But we bring back to our normal. So our graph in life will be like this. All right. So our sadness and our happiness is within a very good standard range. So this is called euthymia. So we always must maintain euthymia. And how are we going to have this spiritual, emotional, mental integration? At this level, all right, of our euthymia, our SEMP integration is working, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks about the nature of our nafs, our soul. Our SEM, all right, and our P is integrated so that we are not moving in one extreme or to the other extreme, not the extreme of psychosis and depression, or not the extreme of mania and depression, mania and elation. So I'll read the Quran, and then you can see that all this basis of this whole psychological range is within mentioned in the Quran, and we can interpret this to understand how we can bring our spiritual, emotional, mental and physical integration into our psychology, because this is mentioned in the Quran. I'll read to you. This is in Surah Shams, verse 7, 8, 9 and 10. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. So what does it mean? وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا, by the soul, by the nafs that Allah has given her, nafs, and the proportion and order given to it. So your nafs, your SEMP has a balance. That's why we are called Muslims, we are called Al-Ummah Wasata. Ummah that lives in a justly balance. That means our four rims of our spiritual, emotional, mental and physical self, our roh, our qalb, our akal and our jasad are finely tuned. So this is the nature of our normal life. So our normal life, we have a little bit of sadness, a little bit of happiness. So we are always in the state of euthymia, which is good. All right? So I have shown you the graph. Sometimes we go through bewilderment, we feel very sad for a while, but we recover because the input from our spiritual, emotional and mental integration is able to bring us out of depression to our normal life within this transient world that we are facing. So Allah tells us what? وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا, by the nafs, by the soul, and the proportion and order given to it. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا, and its enlightenment as to its wrong and its right. So if we want to have a balanced life, we must know what is wrong at the other side and what is wrong at the other side. So we must know within our input into our life how we can develop a psychology of balance. That's very important. So Allah tells us, and its enlightenment as to what is wrong and what is right. For me, what is wrong in the extreme could be our nafsul ammara, thinking about the animalistic self, greed, all right, what do you call it, hedonistic lifestyle, envy, jealousy, revenge, war. That is all the things that cause all this depression. Because if you have war, for example, even for example right now in the Muslim world we have this IS and its related evil. They are creating a lot of depression and psychosis among the people of Syria. So what do? They are not contributing to Islam. It's not Islam. They are creating war that create what? Depression. So the Muslims who are becoming refugees and being killed indiscriminately, or even the non-Muslims in Syria, is being put into this severe depression and psychosis because some evil people in IS have developed a brand which they call Islam, which is absolutely un-Islamic, all right, to portray Islam in a very negative, cruel, evil way that will cause a lot of psychological problem. Among the refugees, you can see this whole spectrum of loss of function. Okay, so then Allah tells us, "Qad aflaha man zakkaha." He succeeds that purify it. So if you purify your nafs, your spiritual, emotional, mental self, then you from depression or from mania or psychosis, you go back to normal. So it is something that is treatable. And now we know through the understanding of our neuroplasticity. Our neuroplasticity is able that we can actually be able to recover. Through brain scan, they found that there is many ways of recovery, and a lot of discovery of this brain scan is dependent on how we mold our thinking, our inner speech, which I have explained many times. All right? Qad aflaha man zakkaha wa qad haba man dassaha. And he fails that corrupts his nafs, his SEMP. So this is a very important understanding which I'm giving to you, because when you can see that from this whole spectrum, we can see a lot of problems in terms of the modern world. So you can see, for example, you have dysthymia, you have euthymia here, you have dysthymia and normal beveragement. That means sometimes you go through mild depression. So as we lose our child in an accident, or we give birth to a child that is a special child, or our family member have an accident and so on, we go through this. Okay, so we go to dysthymia and bereavement, but because of our strong SEMP integration that we have imbued ourselves in terms of the psychological way of life, positive Islamic psychology way of life, you then become sad. From here you go to here, then you go back to normalcy, and later on you can then experience the happiness. All right. So at the higher level, for those who are not imbued with a purpose and meaning in life, they go into loss of function, self-depression, and depression with suicide psychosis. So this is major depressive order, MDD, and adjustment disorder. So this is where a lot of the modern world, people in the modern world, because they become psychologically depressed because of failure in school, failure in love, failure in business, failure in many, many things, that failure alone become a purpose for them to go into very deep, major depressive disorder that they cannot function anymore. And that's why in the modern world, we're building so many psychiatric hospitals, more and more and more, and coming in throughout the world. But we are not resolving the basic problem. The basic problem is there must be a lot of input in terms of the spiritual, emotional, mental self. The nafs must be then be brought to the center. And this is where Islam has the truth, this guidance be given to Allah as revealed in the Quran, as I mentioned to you, read to you, that we can bring them here. All right, the same thing. If they have cyclothymia, all right, they have sad, they have a little bit of euthymia, happiness, elation. Sometimes you over it, okay? But this one, you can bring it back because you're still functional. All right, but at the level, at mania and mania psychosis, there's complete lack of function. So these people cannot. These people will have to go for hospitalization or therapy plus medication, because at this level, they can be a danger to themselves and a danger to others. For example, if they at this mania and psychosis, they think he's a Superman. If he jump out of the building, that's the end of him. On the other end, if he's depression, he has suicide ideation. He's always thinking of killing himself, and they will be expressed in I'm hopeless, I got no will to live, and things like all that expression. Only thing they have not done it. But if they have attempted once or twice, then they must straight away be brought to the hospital so that they can be treated, so that the actual suicidal act is not being done. All right. So if you see in this psychological disorder, you have bipolar type 2. That's where they have depression plus psychosis, self-depression, mild depression, sad. They go through this whole range. Okay, from very negative depressive to mania state. So this is bipolar disorder type 2. And for bipolar disorder type 1, the whole disorder is schizoaffective. Bipolar disorder, that means from the whole range, they go through this way. For them, their life would be like a yo-yo. So it may take 3 to 5 months, 3 to 5 months. So even they take sometimes weeks, 2 weeks, up, down, up, down. So they go through elation to massive depression. So this is bipolar type 1. For bipolar type 2, okay, they will go through very severe, the same thing, but when they go to up elation, they go a bit lower. Okay, so this is bipolar type 2. All right. So for the others I've mentioned to you, for major depressive disorder, they would be living in their own world. So they are always somewhere. They doesn't get out. So they are always down below the baseline. All right. So you can see, I'm giving you in a graphical form how important is in the 21st century the inclusion of a spiritual base to bring humanity back to the center. And Islam have the answer. It is up to us to apply this, to apply Islamic psychology and positive Islamic psychology, develop the framework, develop the methodology, and inshallah, once we have completed this video, inshallah, we'll put this into a book form, and then we will then spread it out as our da'wah, as our contribution to the ummah, and as a contribution to humanity, inshallah. I hope you understand how we can integrate our spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical integration into the range of psychological life in this world, inshallah.